Yo, what's going on, everybody? My name is Colinies, and welcome today to a new YouTube video. And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm actually live streaming right now on my twitch.tv channel. Link in the description. Stream like 5 to 6 times a week, you know the vibes. But yeah, we're going to be doing a Ask Me Anything with the chat. I'm going to have a Google form that they're submitting me questions through. Most of it is going to be about Smash, but also if people have questions about life, I'm going to be leaving it up to my editor. Shout out to my editor to use his discretion on which questions will be best for the video. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into some questions. Oh yeah, and this is Loryn, by the way. I found her on the street. She moved in here. Little Dan, who is your greatest rival and why? Okay, so this one's from Little Dan. Yeah, if you guys want me to know who the questions are from, make sure to put your Twitch username, alright? Who's your greatest rival and why? That's actually a really good question. It's tough to answer because there's a few different ways to look at it. Like, Toast is somebody that I view as a rival, but at the same time, like, he's had, like, he's been dominant over me. I actually can't even say pretty. Like, he's, like, 11-0 against me or something. So, yeah, I have a lot of work to do against him to really call him a rival. So far, it's been pretty one-sided. Cosmos, same kind of deal. But those are two people that I definitely, you know, consider rivals and people that I look to for inspiration and also to try to get better than. But I would say, truly, my #1 rivals right now are Sylvanas. Me and Sylvanas are always going to be rivals and best friends, and we're always going to be, like, rivals in Smash Bros. And push each other further. I love that. But, yeah, that's a really good question, Lil Dan. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Any tips for mentality? Yesterday I was playing and I was drained and I didn't not want to play Smash anymore. Any tips to have a better mentality and not fall into that state again? It's a good question. I think the best way I could say it, I guess, is everybody has a limit, right? Your point where you kind of like, you just really can't exert yourself well enough, like, anymore. You get exhausted, you get tired. For me, my limit is usually about, if I play for 2 hours straight and I'm seriously trying my hardest, full on focus, like, but yeah, man, once you hit your point of mental exhaustion, time to get off the game. I mean, you're not going to get any better. You're not really going to learn anything. That's just kind of how it is. So, all right. DJ767 says, what's the best way to improve neutral? It's a really good question. Improving neutral, I think, it's a combination of two main things, right? It's character control, right? How well can you control your character? How well can you space your aerials? How well can you, relative to your opponent, put yourself in the best position for your character, right? That comes with practice, doing the training routine that I talked about in my new YouTube video, the newest improvement Q&A video. You know, basically just making sure that you can control your character and put him exactly where you need him to be. And the second part is all about theory, right? It's all about game knowledge and kind of like more abstract. How much do you know about your opponent's character? How much do you know about your opponent's playstyle? How much do you know about what your character benefits from in neutral? Things like that. If you can establish in your head those kind of things, that's why knowing matchups is so important. If I know a certain matchup, then I can play neutral in a way that avoids that person's game plan. You know what I mean? It's counteractive to what they want to do. So I think it's just a mixture of getting more comfortable with your character, being able to control them the exact way you want, and then also just learning as much about the game as possible so that you're ready for as many situations as possible. If that makes sense. Alright, someone said, do you remember when you were a mid-level player? Hell yeah, I remember when I was a mid-level player. Dude, I mean, yeah, for sure. I would say I was mid-level until, I mean, it's hard to say. Probably 2016, 2017, so like 2 to 3 years into my Smash career, I'd say I kind of broke through to like the top level more. But yeah, dude, I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday. Really wasn't that long. And the only thing that got me out of being a mid-level player was just continuing to grind, go to tournaments, put myself out there, learn as much as possible, take advice from people that are better than me, blah, blah, blah. All those kind of things. How do you get rid of the fear of losing from D4Z as well? Fear of losing comes from lack of ability to control your emotions, I think. This is something I've learned firsthand a lot. When you lose and it destroys you, you allow it to like really bother you, really get to you, which you guys know, I definitely do that a lot. It means two things, right? It means you're passionate, which is good. It means you care, which is very good. But it also means that you're putting yourself in a mental state while you're in a match that if you don't win, then you're going to go, your body's going to go into chaos mode, right? It's going to freak out and start panicking. So what does your body do when it thinks it's gonna panic and freak out? It gets a big adrenaline rush, spikes your blood sugar, all that kind of stuff. It makes you fucking freak out, puts you in fight or flight. So when that happens, it makes you choke, makes you play nervous, makes you play bad. Basically, the main way to deal with that is you gotta just learn how to accept losing, and it's not an easy process, and it's not something that happens overnight. In fact, it'll probably take a long time depending on who you are. But it's something that I accepted a while ago, that it's just a process that you're gonna be on, a journey you gotta go down, and but the first step is knowing that that's why you're doing it, if that makes sense. But yeah, there you go, D4Z. How/why do you personally stay committed to the game or anything really when nothing is going the way you hoped? It's a really good question, man. That's a really good question, and that's a hard one to answer shortly, but I'll try to my best. Basically, the idea for me is that you need something day to day that motivates you, right? Something that you live for in a way, something that is like the highest goal that pushes you, that gives you kind of like structure, purpose. You know, for a lot of people, it's a job. A lot of people, it's family, whatever, right? For me, it's been Smash Brothers since I was 14 years old, and it still is. And most things I do in my life, the way I structure my life, the way that I find what I'm gonna do next, what I do, is from the perspective of somebody trying to become as good as they possibly can at this game. And when I put myself in that mentality, it's like a never quit kind of mentality. It's like, no matter how bad things get, I'm not fucking quitting, because promise you, I've had some lows in the Smash journey. I really have. But I always have put myself in the mind state. After I quit the first time in like 2018, I lost my weight. I went and got a job. You know, I started learning some shit about life and everything, and it was a good break. But once I came back, I really decided, like, okay, when Ultimate came out, I was like, all right, this is what I do, and I'm not going to stop until, because if I spent 6 years and I gave up on my goals now, it would just be like, I think, the most heartbreaking thing in the world, you know? And I'm only going to be this young and have this good of an opportunity once, and if I'm 80 years old and I look back and I say, wow, I just gave up, or I never committed the way that I wanted to, that would be really tragic, in my opinion. Good question, though. Really good question. What's your personal thoughts on the community from Yusei? I think the community is in a not bad place right now. I just think Twitter, dude, Twitter, chat, tell me if you guys agree with me on this, but my theory, and I've realized this, I think, Twitter is just not real life, man. When you go to your local scene, when you go to tournaments in your local college area, when you go meet friends locally, people that also love Smash, when you go and just whatever, when you're out in person in the real world with other Smashers, getting to know each other, learning about each other, understanding each other, and you're not on a forum that promotes dunking on each other and getting fake internet points for dopamine and blah, 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 blah. I think there's a huge divide, right? There's the online Smash community, not necessarily the Wi-Fi warriors, but like, you know, how most people act online versus how most people act in person. And I love the in-person Smash community to death. I've had nothing but great experiences with it. The online Smash community, not a huge fan of. Not a huge fan of. I don't know if any of you guys agree with that, but I don't know. But also at the same time, any online community is just gonna have its issues. It's unavoidable. It really is. That's a good question though. Thank you, Yusei. All right, Dual Gas says, how to improve your disadvantage state. All right, 3 words. Go to ledge. I remember when I was playing against Tweek one day, I asked him and I'm like, dude, I just get body bagged and disadvantaged by you. What am I doing wrong? And he says, you're always afraid to go to the ledge. You always try to force your way down and you end up getting caught, when in reality, being at the ledge sucks. And when you're playing against people that are good at ledge trapping, it really sucks to go to the ledge. But the truth is that your options your chances at the ledge, just due to the amount of options you have, roll, neutral get up, jump, air dodge, blah, 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 all these different options, you have probably a better shot than forcing your way down over and over again. Somebody clip that and send that to me in about 1 hour 30 when I lose a game because I tried to land on top of somebody's head the entire game. Anyways, moving on. Thank you for the question. Hopefully that helps.